show you how to make the mini card along with how to make a customized envelope for said mini card. So the first thing I'm going to do is drop in a shape. So for the mini card, it really depends what you're interested in. My preferred width is 4.5 inches by 3.5 inches. It's just a perfect little note of a card to kind of say whatever you want it to say. So it's a simple just a note or just a letter to say this. I'm going to do mine in blue, and I'm also going to drop in a score line. And the score line, our height we want to be 3.5 inches. And we're just going to center all of that information right there. So align, center, and attach. And it's as simple as that. So you have your base for your mini card. Now I'm going to drop in another square. Just give it a little unlock. And this I like to eyeball. I don't give it too much thought about how big this is going to be. If I'm making these freeform, I do have exact measurements, but that's only if I'm using my slicer. If not, I just like to freeform the size. And that looks just right. Boom. I'm going to drop that in. The next thing I'm going to do, alright, is I'm going to put in a message. And it's up to you what you want your message to say. So for this, I'm just going to do a little square. And for me, the perfect little message, another light blue, would say something like, let's go with just a note, right, and see how that plays out. So just a note. I like to usually use billionaire, right, that kind of very scripty handwriting, but to make it a little different, I'm just going to drop this. It's perfect. I'm going to shrink the width of this. Right, I'll just kind of align that, center it, and see how it looks. It looks alright. The thing that I noticed is that J is kind of jutting out just a little bit more than I'd like. It's like on top of the U. So I'm going to try to letter space it out, see if that does the trick. It's not really. So next order of business, go to advance, ungroup those letters, and just move the rest of the text away from the J. I don't think I did any better there. So now I'm just going to try to move the J. A little better. One more little micro adjustment. There we go. And now I'm going to attach all the letters together. I'm going to align that center. Align, center it, boom, attach. Alright, and I could think about changing the color of those letters. Alright, I'm not super concerned. That's just a little too big. Boom, just a note. And that's it. Alright, that's how I make my mini card. Now, the big question that I keep getting online is, how do you do an envelope for said mini card? And that's actually really quite easy too. So, it really helps if you have your Cricut access. But ultimately, as long as you find a free envelope to use, I think that's totally fine. So I'm just going to scroll down. I'm going to look for an envelope that I like. And what I look for are these envelopes with these outlines, right? The ones that are already kind of pre-made. And they're all the same, really. They don't look, none of them look particularly different. So I think I'm going to go with that last one I just had, although these are very nice. So I'm going to just go right with this one. So I'm going to insert that image. Right. And so what I do here is, the first thing is I want to rotate it 90 degrees, because I want to make sure it fits the envelope. And I'm going to start moving this. Alright, and the goal is to unlock this and stretch it in a way that you know it fits exactly where you want it to. So I'm going to send it to the back and see how it is. So because when the card's all folded up, I want to make sure that these lines are just the way I want. And that looks perfect. Right? That's all it takes to make your mini card with your envelope. So I'm going to switch to assembly after I cut these out, and we'll go over assembly of it, and we'll see how the final product comes out. Alrighty, so I'm here for assembly of said mini card and envelope. So these are the pieces that I have. So there's the base, there are squares for the holdout. What I also have is the envelope piece. Other things that I'm using today is the glue, nice little tape roller. I have some 3D pop adhesives. I have my creaser, and the last little bit that I'm going to be using today is a Cuttlebug folder to put a print onto said base. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my card, right? And usually you can see, as you can see, there's a nice little crease already made. So I'm going to start with that. See, I'm going to try to feel the fold. Right there, it starts to initially feel the fold and making sure it measures up ever so perfectly. I'm just going to crease that nice and tight. Great. So one thing to pop your cards are embossing folders. I love my embossing folders. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to temporarily shift everything away. I'm going to hold on to this, and I'm going to bring out my Cuttlebug. So I'm just going to pan just ever so slightly to my Cuttlebug. Hopefully that stays beautiful. So this is my Cuttlebug, and as you'll see in future episodes, I will be using both the Cuttlebug, but I'll also use my Empress machine. So pull out the little handle, importantly my A plate and my glass plate. So I'm going to get that, place that, I'm going to open up my folder, and I'm not looking for a perfect emboss on this, so I'm just going to place that right in there, close it, looks pretty even. Just give it a little slide up. Perfect. And then to finish it off, I'm going to take my glass plate and finish it. What you'll notice is my glass plates are very well used. So I'm just going to run that in. Crank that through. That should be enough. Don't need so much pressure for this. And that way, my card gets a nice little texture. So if you haven't invested in a Cuttlebug, I highly recommend it. For a while they were out of print, but lately at Joann's, I've been seeing them pop back in. So it's one of those machines that just, you can never do wrong without. So back to assembly. So I'm going to slide this back. And assembly here is very quick. So I got this. I'm going to take my tape roller, run it through, making sure to get all four corners. What I'm looking is to see which is the more dominant side. When I say dominant, whenever you're folding your papers, you'll always notice one side is a little bit further over than the other. And so I like that side that's a little bit more over to be in the front. Looks just about right. Perfect. There's that. This is going to go on the interior. Put in all four sides. Perfect. Take that. And now I have this little, just a note. So I'm going to just flip that to the other side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 3D dot adhesives. I'm going to take one off. Pop it right on the side. Sometimes I do cut these in half, just so that way I don't tear through so many dots, because I use dots on almost every card. I just love having that little extra dimension. But because I'm doing this for YouTube, and I can put it up in the middle, I can put it on top, so it doesn't look bad in the middle. I always like them on the bottom. I'm non-committal. I'll put it down. What's nice is, if you don't like the placement, you can always just move it with the dot adhesive. Voila. Just a note. So the last little bit is our little envelope. So, like others, you can feel the crease. And this is the part that really makes the Just a Note, the mini cards, really special, are these mini envelopes. And what I like to do is I like to make these envelopes in bulk, so I have hundreds of these little mini envelopes. I made one special for today, but I have them just in hand, and I have hundreds of these mini cards because they're just the perfect little thing. And I have an assortment of sayings. I have Just a Note, I have a lot of happy birthdays, a couple get wells, a couple love yous. You know, you just want that little special note. And then to make sure that click that close. Boom. And I made a nice little envelope for my mini card. I can tuck that away. And when the time comes, I'll write in my little message, and I'll seal that with a little washi tape. So there you go. So that's how you assemble and put together a little mini card. Again, this is Danny with Danny'sCards.com. Thank you so much for watching.